My name is William. I work as the director of tech evangelism for Alkira, and today was an exciting day. We launched our ZTNA solution as part of our broader network platform, and that's what I'm here to talk about. So let's get going. I only have 10 minutes, so I'm going to have to speed talk here. So I'm going to shorten some of these things just a little bit. So first things first, I just want to take a brief look at what is like the landscape today of zero trust and network access. Like, what are the actual problems that are trying to be solved? And next, I want to look at what is the agreed upon industry definitions of what ZTNA is. Starting from first principles, just so we have a groundwork that we can begin at. And then I'm going to loop in Alkira. How is Alkira solving these, and how are we elevating it even further for additional use cases? So first things first, we live in a very interconnected world now. So when I started working in tech, all the applications were in the data center, and now applications are everywhere. So we have all the users to the left here, and they can be working from anywhere. In the office, coffee shops, and that's the work from home, spawned from COVID. It's just been crazy now. And then they can work from all these different places. And then applications and services, well, they can live anywhere. Clouds, on premises, usually a mix. So the first pattern I want to look at that's a hard one to solve is user to app. So you have these users and you have this really expanded attack surface. So what enterprises are really trying to do is they're trying to shrink that. They want to shrink that attack surface. And instead of giving a user access to like a network with lots of applications, they want to only, they really want to limit that. The next thing is user to internet. So coming in and actually taking context of, okay, I can work from the office and maybe my internet access looks one way, but then when I work from a coffee shop, maybe it's different. But making internet egress secure and tightening everything down. And then the third thing is something that's really coming to fruition these days with cloud native application patterns. So instead of big monolithic applications like we're used to in the data center world, we live in a world of microservices, loosely coupled, small pockets of things that can be, deployed autonomously to the world. So this app to app connectivity is becoming, really huge and top of mind for enterprise. So starting with the core principles, and what better place to take core principles from than Gartner? They say it, and it is so. And I really like this definition. So, ZTNA is a product or service that creates an identity and context-based logical access boundary around an application or set of applications. Okay, so what does that mean? So digging in further, the first component of this is identity. So taking your identity provider and making sure that every user is authenticated and authorized before they get to anything. They're not getting to anything unless this step is passed. The next thing is least privilege. So just because, William gets authenticated and authorized to some resources doesn't mean I need to keep the same access to those resources based on different context. Like I might be working from a different place. I might be working from a different device. There's so many, is my device patched? There's so many different contextual data points that can be used to really lock down this access and make sure that it's in the right context. And the third thing, and I kind of just spoke on this, but taking contextual security through all aspects of the process. So anytime I move, if I'm working from the office to working from home to working from Starbucks to I was working on an airplane on the way here. All these things are different places, and there's context that you can derive from each of these places. So I love this quote right here. it takes 20 years to build a reputation, and it can be gone in an instant. So I actually, where I'm from, there was a big healthcare provider that got, basically ransomed, and they didn't pay the ransom, and data ended up on the dark web. Ransomware is running rampant everywhere. It's a huge problem. And really the key to solving that is shrinking that attack surface and locking these things down. So first things first, where is Alkira today? Sort of what are the high level patterns that we really solve? So the first thing is site-to-site connectivity. And the second thing, as far as patterns are concerned, is site to cloud. So you can think of that as like, digital transformation. I need to connect my data center to one or, multiple clouds or a branch office, whatever it is that I need to connect. And the third thing is cloud to cloud. So, hey, I need to connect a AWS VPC to an Azure VNet. With us, it's as simple as a few clicks. It's very simple, very little friction. So if you think of like this whole thing, and in these vendors down here that we integrate with, so we integrate with a ton of third-party vendors, to do service insertion and really many cool things that further help reduce that operational friction. So this creates like a network foundation, kind of like network bedrock, in which you can build a lot of really cool use cases upon. One of those is ZTNA. So how do we view ZTNA at Alkira? So we're going to take that identity and that least privilege, and we're going to start there. So there I am, William. I'm getting authenticated and authorized. But if I don't get authenticated and authorized through whatever identity provider I'm using, I don't get access to anything over there. No cloud, no data center, no internet, no nothing. Okay, but say I get authorized, and then we throw in some context, additional context, and say that, now William is working from the office. When William works from the office, he gets access to the purple app in the cloud, to the red app, purple app data center, red app cloud, and then I can go out to the internet. Okay. But say that I get done working in the office and I go home. Well, maybe I don't need access to apps or things in the data center when I'm working from home. Maybe I just need access to a few select applications, within one of the cloud providers, and then I need internet egress. And so taking this a step further, I know I've got young kids at home and they're loud. If you think this conference is loud, my kids are extremely loud. And sometimes I need to get out and go to like a bougie coffee shop, Starbucks down the street. I go there all the time. So say that I'm going, my device posture and this contextual stuff is going to follow me in real time. So nothing has to be dialed from the platform. It's going to take this context and it's going to know, okay, William went to Starbucks. William doesn't need access to anything in the data center. He doesn't need access to any of the applications in the cloud. We just only want to allow him internet access from this point. Check. We make this simple. So basically the point is, backed by user identity driven, we're taking a lot of context at the endpoint and using that context to make very intelligent decisions about what level of access that you have to your resources and your environments. But we're not done there. So we could have stopped here and said, hey, we have a fully featured, we're checking all the boxes for ZTNA. Great. Let's roll. But we took it a step further with this app-to-app connectivity. So, because this is a huge thing. We hear a ton about this, especially, with the cloud native environments. So in this instance, purple app can talk to the red app in the cloud, and the slightly green app below the purple app in the data center can talk to the red app in the cloud as well. But the blue app over in the cloud, it's all alone. It's a lonely app. It can't talk to anything. It's completely isolated. No connectivity to anything else. And this is the flexibility that you get with the way that we're approaching ZTNA, layered on to this network platform. And that wraps it up. And I think I'm on time. Awesome. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Come by the booth.